Alright, so Tekken 8 came out just the other day, and so far, I do not like King. Um, I used to be a King main back in Tekken 7, and he was fun. Later in the game, I started playing Miguel a bit more. Um, so I kind of dropped King for a little bit, and I was hyped because of all the trailers and how King looked. I love his new design, and I was very excited to play him. But once I got my hands on him, I quickly found that he probably has some of the easiest game plans and setups now. King is a grappler. Everybody knows this. King's a grappler. Tekken 7, he got some moves to help track people down and get in a lot easier. His forward 1 has always been a really good get in move. I don't know how long he's had it for. I'm not a Tekken veteran. I really started playing during Tekken 7. So these are my opinions pretty much as a Tekken 7 enjoyer as opposed to a Tekken veteran. But forward 1, amazing move. In Tekken Tag 2, because that is my other frame of reference, he did not have forward 2-1, but Armored King did. So in Tekken 7, that's also a great tracking down move. That's a great punisher, great everything. In this game, they made it his heat pretty good. Really good, actually. Amazing. And they also changed his tackle. His tackle is now safe on block, being, I believe, -9. Yup, -9. And also a heat engager. So through basic attacks, those are his 2 heat engagers. The other heat engagers come with his gimmicks because he is a grappler. So he has this grab right here. The pedigree. 35 damage normally, but usually within a combo, obviously it's going to do more. And this grab right here. The RKO. Both heat engagers. And he also has this stance. I forgot what it's called. I just call it his armor. I don't know what you'd call it. I was right. It's actually called muscle armor. Okay. So muscle armor into Emerald Elbow also goes into heat. So they're all off of gimmicks pretty much. Forward 2-1 and forward 2+3 being the only like actual moves that put you into heat. Cool, that's fine. He is a grappler. I want his grabs to be strong. I want his grabs to be utilized. I want to feel rewarded when I land a grab. But that's also kind of where my issue comes into play. So a thing I quickly noticed is that whenever I got people into grabs, low grabs to be specific, whenever I got people into low grabs, nobody was ever breaking them. And, you know, at first, obviously, like, oh, maybe they just don't know the break. A lot of newer players are getting in because the game just came out. Maybe they just don't know the break. But more and more, I see that nobody is breaking it. People I play with, people who have been playing Tekken for decades at this point, aren't breaking it. Why aren't they breaking it? Turns out, all 3 of his crouching grabs are unbreakable. Now, I do not like that. I don't like it for a couple of reasons. The first reason, yeah, sure, I did, you know, catch them crouching, or I did force them to crouch. I deserve that grab, right? But just like me getting these plus frames, just like me getting these plus frames, they can still break the giant swing. Me getting these plus frames, they can still break the Tijuana Twister. But then me getting this, it's just guaranteed. I really don't like that, because it's just guaranteed damage. It gives them no point to really break out of it. Another reason is that it limits the reasons to use specific crouching grabs. Nobody can break them. So when all 3 of those grabs do 35 damage, well, I guess I believe this one, no, that does 35. Okay, when all of these grabs do 35 damage, there's really no reason to use any other one unless you want to use this one for heat engager. If I use this one, then I can get a hit on them sometimes, maybe just 1 elbow, maybe a down 3 if they're getting up wrong, or if they are actually waking up standing. If they wake up standing up, straight up, which is something that people hardly do, from what I've noticed at least, especially in more recent games where rolling backwards is the most effective way to get out of situations. Hardly anybody is going to stand up straight up, especially if they're right in your face. So Oki like this can come in handy in some niche situations, but for the most part, people are going to roll backwards to get out of it. And if they're doing that, you might as well just use this, the pedigree, for the exact same amount of damage, and you get your heat. But what if you don't want to use your heat too early? It's fine. Just use another one of the grabs. No, there's no harm in it. If anything, the only 2 crouching grabs you need are the pedigree and then this one. I forgot what that move is called, but that one. Those are the only 2 that you need. This one right here, the 2 elbows to the face, the elbow and then the clothesline, it leaves them too far away for any Oki. And it leaves you neutral when they get up. Now, I thought doing that grab, the clothesline one at the wall, might help. But no, it still pushes you back. And either way, it still leaves you neutral. So you can't really get anything out of it unless they're standing straight up like before. Which is an unreasonable circumstance since people don't really do that. And maybe you'll get like a nick off of them. Like they're shaving, just a little nick. Unless I'm doing something wrong, unless there's something I don't know. But obviously, you can take time while they're getting up. Down back 3, you know, while they're getting up. Maybe use that time to input shining. You know, you still got your options. It's still an Oki situation. It's still a very scary situation. Especially at the wall. Another thing I don't like about this king is this stance right here. It's, I don't know what it's called. I just call it running. That's all I call it. All right, it's Jaguar Sprint. That's the name of it. Jaguar Sprint. Now, Jaguar Sprint has 6 outcomes. It has Jaguar Sprint 1, Jaguar Sprint 2, Jaguar Sprint 3, 4, and then there's Jaguar Sprint 1+3 or 2+4, which is the RKO that puts you in the heat, or Jaguar Sprint 2+3, which I don't think anybody is going to use unless they're trying to goof around, which is something I do sometimes. It's a funny move. It doesn't get used enough. Now, my problem with this stance is that pretty much everything on it is safe. 1, -8. 2, +3 with chip. 3, -9. Why is it -9? He's doing a full 360. It's orbital. It's an orbital mid that wall splats. That's safe. And how much does it do on hit? I never do this one for reasons I'll get into in a minute. 22 damage. So it's not like super crazy, but that's still pretty good damage. And then 4, Oops, I forgot to put in the crouching block. 4 is punishable, -21, so I'm assuming with the while rising 4 or something of that nature, you can launch. Or carry them at least. And then nobody really cares, but this one, -16, but you know, awkward angle. Obviously, it's gonna be like a weird combo, but it's still gonna punish. And obviously, if you crouch the grab, you know, it's fair game. You get launched. But this grab, it is 23 frames. Now, what I've heard from pro players is that around 23 frames, that's when things start to become seeable. So we pretty much have invisible mid that knocks down on a hit for some either risky damage or I believe guaranteed damage if I'm quick enough with it. Yeah, okay. Right there. Or some guaranteed damage. And an invisible high crush, or I'm sorry, invisible high chipping plus move, or a hardly seeable mid orbital, which you know, I'm going off of what they're saying and through experience, because I believe 23 frames is the same amount of frames as Heihachi's down back 2, and I could barely see that, but I still cannot react to it like regularly. So it's either unseeable mid that drops you, unseeable high that chips and will also drop you, unseeable mid that will wall splat you or knock you pretty far away, or super slightly seeable low that doesn't really get anything. It's probably the most useless move out of the bunch. It's punishable. He literally lays there at neutral. He could probably get stomped if he's not quick enough. Doesn't get anything on counter hit. I don't think it's really that useful unless it's like a round ender of some sort. But it's a sprint, so you know, if you sidestep it, he's just gonna go right past. He's just gonna go right past, right on his own merry way. Not with King. Not with King. It actually tracks like a motherfucker. So I'll have him sidewalk left. It actually tracks like a crazy man. Like, he is hungry. He's on you. For the first, I don't know how many frames that would be, but he is on you. Like, you have to hope he doesn't press anything for the longest for your sidestep to be worth anything. There's the low. There's the 3. There's the 1. And there's the 2. Crazy. Insane. He follows you. And what's worse about that, running the Jaguar Sprint, what's worse about that is King has multiple moves that go into Jaguar Sprint. Now, one of them is actually a pretty good move. Armored mid. It can be cancelled, by the way. Armored mid that goes automatically in the Jaguar Sprint. On hit, it's plus 22, which means on hit, they have 0 amount of time. Zilch. Nada. No time to sidestep or do anything. They have to guess. You are your game. You are King. They cannot get away from you. They try to sidewalk. He can't do it. He can't do it. he has to face the consequence of getting hit by a move that reaches from 3-4. he has to deal with a move that reaches from 3.4 distance. That is an insane reach. That is a crazy reach. You see that distance? 1 step, 2 step, tiny step, boom. Still reaches. The only downside to this move is that it's -12. So you can get punished for it. But I think if the payoff to this move is a possible heat engager that does 45 damage. No, I'm sorry. Not 45 damage. 23 plus 45. That is 68 damage right there. Is that 68 damage? That's 68 damage. A move that goes into a possible 23 plus 21 plus 20 more damage, 64 damage, or a possible, well, it doesn't give you much. It doesn't give you anything free, but it does give you a free 50-50. Free Oki. So if I boom, did that, bop, stay down. Or if they do stay down, obviously ground grab. It does not give you a guaranteed attempt at a ground grab though. So that's good. It's good. It balances that out a little bit. But that move going into that stance is absolutely crazy. I don't know how anybody thought that range. I'm sure I'm close enough for a 12 frame punish from any range, which is good. Especially if I whiff. If I whiff, I deserve what's coming to me. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, I have my heat. Okay? I have my heat, and I don't know what to do with it. So why not spend it? Ooh, look at that. That is insane. So from my heat, if I get it blocked, I go straight into Jaguar Sprint like it's nobody's business. So since I go into Jaguar Sprint from it getting blocked, I'm still plus 12. Now that's not plus 22 or whatever it was on that one kick's hit, that armored kick. Now it's not that plus, but let me try this. I still believe that if they block it and try to sidestep, they won't be able to. They won't. So you just have to eat it. You have to sit there and eat the silly little 50-50 that Bandai Namco put in for King. Because it doesn't matter what you do. You have to eat it. So yummy. Concrete tastes so fucking good. Another thing I don't like about King is that he gets the 2 very strong grabs that I've been talking about, which is the pedigree and the RKO. Normally, he does not get them in a special circumstance. He gets them normally. So that means in neutral, without heat, he has, if you want to put it in the simplest terms, without including all of the crouching grabs, 2 unbreakable grabs. In a very normal situation, it will be very normal for Kings to use Jaguar Sprint. It will be very normal for Kings to get you to crouch or to scare you enough to crouch. Very normal situations. And those grabs are unbreakable. So here, boom, here, free 56 damage. Free, just for you. I put that just for you. Or maybe, free 45 damage. Maybe you get hit with long range attack. Free 68 damage. Just for you, chef's kiss, just for you. Because why would you want your opponent to break anything? You know? You're a grappler. You want to grab people. You have all this muscle. You want to grab somebody. You don't want them to break your grab. So go on, get him the crouch. Hit him with the pedigree. Everybody's gonna love it. Crowd's gonna go wild. But what exactly do you get in Heat if these grabs, unbreakable, are in your base form? I'm gonna call it base form, like we're talking anime characters here. Because at this point, every character is an anime character with their little special little power up. In his base form, he gets unbreakable grabs. In his base form, he gets a move that hits from 3.4, forces you into a mix-up. Pretty much he is his own wall. Because King used to be scary at the wall, but now he makes an artificial wall by running towards you. But the wall can be broken. The wall can be broken. You jab, he's out of it. I don't think really any of these moves crush, except obviously that one right there. And maybe that one too. But, you know, Jaguar Sprint 3 and Jaguar Sprint 4, they leave the ground, so they crush lows, maybe in rare circumstances crush highs. But, now I gotta turn Heat on for this. What you do get in Heat is not interesting new moves, no. Actually, what you get in Heat is an armored up Jaguar Sprint, so they can't hit you out of it. So, if anybody tries to get a little bit too handsy and punch you out of your Jaguar Sprint, you eat it. And then you can grab them on their recovery frames. Yeah, and then grab them on their recovery frames. 45 damage. Or they actually did add one property to Heat. And it's his Jaguar Sprint 1. It now launches into a combo. Now you can think of many King combos that can work in any case scenario. The combo I usually lean towards is this one right here. You know, a very good combo, 66 damage. Pretty good combo. Gets him to wall, scares him a little bit. Pretty good combo, especially with your tracking moves from Jaguar Sprint. But from Armor to Jaguar Sprint into Shining Wizard, it's 66 damage. Pretty much the same amount of damage with even less effort. Also, 2 of your Jaguar Sprint moves get armor. It's the launch, so Jaguar Sprint 1, and Jaguar Sprint 2. The safe on block, the plus on block, high, invisible high, chipping move. And both of them chip now, by the way, because it is Heat. And it does eat at your Heat. Like, don't worry your little heart out. It does waste his Heat. But an actually interesting property that I think is really cool on King is that some of his grabs maintain his Heat. It actually recovers it, which is very cool. I'm not sure how many characters have things like that, but I know King is one of them. Very interesting. So theoretically, he could have Heat forever. But since Jaguar Sprint 1 launches now, maybe it's a little bit punishable. It's still -8. It's still -8 on block. So what you have here is a safe tracking mid that launches into a 66 damage low effort combo. That's what you have right here. On a character who, in theory, can maintain Heat until the end of time. Now, I don't know if they place tested King. but I think that needs a little bit reworking. The only things you get from Heat as King, other than obviously Heat engagers and stuff like that, Heat dashes and shit, is a safe mid armored launcher, or a safe a plus high armored move that knocks down and already chips like normally. So it may chip more now that I'm in Heat. I'm not sure. Maybe it does. I'm not gonna use that as a point of argument though, because you know I hope stuff that already chips a bit more in Heat. I hope. Another complaint I have is the lack of a need for combos. Now King, he's a grappler. Grapplers, their combos can still be flashy. Kings are still pretty flashy, but you don't need his combos. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, back in Tekken 7, when I played King, there were moments where I had to decide, do I want my max damage and risk the Oki? Or do I want a little bit less damage and bring them to the wall where King is most optimal? In this game, I don't need to make those decisions. Not as often with King, at least. Because if I do my back 1-2 on counter hit, I can just do Shining Wizard for a 61 damage combo. 61 damage. That is pretty good. Let me think of an impromptu combo right off the bat. Right off the bat. I haven't played King much in this game since usually I want to have fun with a character. That's 58 damage, and that's like a little baby combo. I don't know what the most optimal combo is from back 1-2 counter hit. I don't. I will admit that. I do not know the most optimal route for that counter hit. Back in Tekken 7, they already made him a very well-rounded character, giving him moves from Armored King, giving him moves from Marduk, like with that forward 2, down 1, 2. They already made him a very well-rounded character in that game, giving him a new kick, giving him a new leg press or leg drop. They were cooking with him. They were cooking with him. They were making something really cool, a pretty versatile grappler. I don't know all too many fighting games where a grappler, where somebody who primarily used to be a grappler, also, you know, like, is versatile enough to, like fight with the best of them, fight with the more, like, all over the place characters, the safer characters. But no, King does it all. He has really good counter hits. He has really good punish. He has really good damage on his combos. He has now he has trackable moves that force you into 50-50s. The reason I don't need to do combos with King, the reason I don't need to do this combo with King right here, is because I can do this and get the same amount of damage. Now, King was able to do that back in Tekken 7, but I feel like in this game, they should have toned it down a bit more, especially since they were making his neutral a lot more overkill. But yeah, I still find King's design awesome. I still love King conceptually, but playing King, I just can't find enjoyment from him anymore. because his game plan just seems so simple. Now, he probably has more crazy Oki I don't know about due to these new mechanics and a couple of these new moves. But I honestly don't understand why they made him so good. A lot of characters were overtuned in Tekken 8, but they're still all really fun to play, even if their concepts are so simple. Dragunov, for example. I've been playing a lot of Dragunov. I honestly think he's top 5 in the game right now. And you don't even have to crouch dash cancel with him anymore, because some of his moves automatically go into crouch dash, and his crouch dash in this game has a lot of utility in combos without the necessity of canceling. But King, I don't know, since he grabs all the time, because he's a grappler, it's like half of your gameplay are cutscenes, really. This combo right here, I don't even need to think about getting them to the wall. Because even if I can't hit my, what's that called, gut buster? If I can't hit my gut buster, I could just bring the wall to them with my Jaguar Sprint. If I can't do or know my longest combo, and I can't bring them to the wall, I can bring the wall to them. Especially in heat, I can definitely bring the wall to them. And that is the lack of joy I find with playing King. He quite literally is a wall of muscle now. So you don't need to know combos. You don't need to worry whether or not they'll break your grab. And at this point, I don't think you need to know a whole bunch of Oki with King. It is the little cherry on top, but as of right now, he is honestly one of the craziest damage dealers with the lowest amount of effort in Tekken 8, from what I've seen and what I've experienced. And definitely out of the characters I play. But that's all I had to say about King. Feel free to mention in the comments anything I may have left out, or your opinions on King in general, or just specifically about Tekken 8 King, or maybe something I got wrong. I'm sure I got something wrong in this video, because I did not spend so much time with King. I spent a good few hours in practice mode and online, and I just could not seem to enjoy him.